Hi, everybody. This is Michelle Hill, your legacy builder at Winning Proof. And here we are for another episode of Winning Proof Unscripted. Today, my very special guest is Eric Chatmon. And before I say hello to Eric, I am going to read his bio so you know more about who Eric is and what he's doing. Highly dedicated, innovative, and empowerment driven, Eric Chatmon is founder of Chat Express LLC and the creator of the very first group home app that improves the quality of life for those struggling with mental health challenges. He has an extensive background and ardency when it comes to entrepreneurship, correctional services, and addressing mental illness community concerns, and has an underlying mission to leave the world a little better than he found it. Eric attended college at the University of Toledo and spent a decade of his life working for the Cuyahoga Sheriff's Department as a correctional officer, later transferring to the City of Cleveland Police, working within their Department of Corrections. During his time there, Eric saw firsthand trends with the inmates. Most of them who circled back to jail after being released suffered from mental illness, making him realize that the rehabilitation aspect of sentencing was lacking. Nothing makes Eric happier than being able to leverage his talents, experiences, and humanitarian approaches to better society as a whole. He demonstrated his passion by delivering profound group home connections and diverse resources across the United States with his app to give those with mental health the ability to prosper. Welcome, Eric. I'm glad to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for being here. And I have so many questions for you. And Eric and I met on LinkedIn, and we had an initial great conversation, and I had a billion questions for him. And so I'm going to ask some of those same questions today. So to begin, what is the group home app and why is it important?
Well, the group home app, as you mentioned, in 2018, the city of Cleveland decided to get out of the jail, the correction business, and which kind of transitioned me working into the community. Immediately working in the community, I saw a lot of obstacles that the case managers had. So I wanted to, come up with a tool because, just from my experiences, having the right tools, most jobs are easier when you have the right tools. So I wanted to, just being in the community, trying to find the group homes. I'm thinking to myself, it got to be an easier way to find these group homes. So I just believe God, interceded to the point where I was 3 months in and I realized I was creating an app to find group homes in the community. So to answer your question, the group home app is a group home locator. In some states, they would call them adult care facility, ACFs.
Okay. And why is it so important to have a group home app? Why did you create it in the first place?
Well, I created it because when you're working with the behavioral health population, many times time is very important. You're dealing with individuals that need housing. I mean, and anybody, when you're homeless, time is definitely important. A day, a night, without a home can seem like an eternity. So just that, being able to find these group homes in the amount of time to be able to help the behavioral health population, I felt was very important. Because if you lose them, then a lot of times it's, they're off in the community and you're trying to find them, which can be very challenging, and it's completing the same cycle over and over again. So just being able to have the right tools and being able to take some of the stress off from the behavioral health specialist, I felt was important, because if we're in a better place as, specialists, we're in a better place to help our clients in the community. So I felt like it was definitely something that was needed.
Okay, that is absolutely awesome. I think it's great. I know you're expanding across the United States, which is really exciting. So what specific groups are you targeting that would get the most benefit from the group home app?
Okay, as I mentioned, the case managers, social workers, different behavioral health specialists will be able to use that, but I'm actually targeting the founders, the CEOs, the board members of the agencies and hospitals, because I want to provide a tool that they would have for their employees from day one when an employee get hired onto the agency. Because most of the times when, as a case manager or behavioral health specialist, enter into that field, you're given a caseload. And in that caseload, you have the files for the clients, and you see some of the things that they need, and they pretty much hand it over to you and say, the resources out there, collaborate with some of your colleagues and some of your coworkers, and being able to find these resources. So I want to be able to provide a tool for these hospitals and agencies so that they can have this tool there from day one. And the great thing about the tool, because it's not something that's done intentionally, but as a case manager, when I leave, I take my network with me. But with the app, the network actually stays with the agency. So when you get a new case manager, they have the same network that a case manager, say 5 years in, would have, so they would have all these resources like, the group homes and other resources that are available on the app.
Yeah, that's fabulous, because it eliminates, I imagine, a lot of the time for a new caseworker coming into the field. Where do I get this? Where do I get that? And besides conversations having with, they have with more seasoned caseworkers, they're kind of on their own. So this centralizes everything into one app.
Yes, well said. It really does. As case managers, I know, like, we are given what we call productivity time. So if I have a client, I'm only given an hour and a half that I'm supposed to spend with this client per day. And if I'm spending an hour trying to find some of these resources, then, the time is greatly reduced. So if I can get these resources and have them in a small percentage of the time, then I can use that hour and a half of productivity time more effectively and be able to accomplish more things that are on the client's list so that we can get things, in place for that client.
Yeah, and I uploaded it too, so it's on my cell phone, even though I'm not connected with the industry, but I, looked around it, and there's everything on there, like everything a caseworker would need. It's very well done, very organized, and I'm hoping someday I know that somebody will cross my path and I'll say, oh, have you heard about this? And they're going to say, no, not at all. So
and that's the thing too, Michelle, because as I got into the field, I think everybody deals with or have met somebody that has some type of mental health issues or something like that. And whether it be your case manager or whether you have a cousin, a son, or daughter, or whoever, you can use this app, to find some of the resources that would be able to help your loved one or a neighbor or what have you.
Yeah, that's great. Can you, off the top of your head, list the states that you're in and then kind of give an overview of what states you're expanding to?
Right now, I'm in Ohio. So there are 88 counties in Ohio. So we're throughout those 88 counties. I just recently uploaded group homes in Michigan. So right now in Ohio, we have over 1,000 group homes in Ohio. It kind of shocked me because when I went to go do research for Michigan, they have over 6,000. So yes, they have over 6,000. So and then, it's all the platform is already set up to where we can go throughout the United States. I have people that's in Texas that's actually loading their group homes up, in the state of Texas right now. New York is another state that I have had group homeowners start to load their group homes up in New York as well. And I just really started networking or marketing it. So to a lot of people didn't even know about it, but I don't know how the word got out. Before I knew it, I had over 400 downloads, just, like that. So it just further, kind of proved the need for it, because people definitely saw the need. They see the value. and it's going to, be really impactful in helping individuals in the community.
Oh, yeah. I think this is only the beginning. I mean, it's really, I see this just completely ballooning outward, and really it's going to be word of mouth that people, have you heard about this? Have you heard about this? And just in conversations, it's really going to be a big old deal.
Yeah, and I have a investor that's in Canada, and she actually wants to launch the app in Canada.
Oh.
But, she definitely understands that, we want to, I'm more about the quality instead of just quantity and growing fast, so I want to make sure that we're doing things right. And then just repeat that process over and over from state to state, and mental health is not just an Ohio problem, it's not just a US problem, it's a global problem. So, the possibilities of maybe even going globally is absolutely there, and I would entertain that.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So tell me, like, what type of resources are available through the app that people might not know about? What types of resources?
Okay, the centerpiece is the group homes. So, there we have that. As I continue to, do my research and network and talk to other individuals, I thought it was important to put a news feed on the app. So we need to know what's going on with mental health and substance abuse throughout the United States. So there's a news feed on the app that's loaded hourly. As we get it, it pops up. I may pull up something now, and I'll see, some news feed, and I may go back an hour from now, and that completely is way down the list because I got maybe several other things that has popped up. So we have that. Also on there, we have Mr. Hugh Jackson. He's the former head coach of the Cleveland Browns. He has a Fighting Human Trafficking Foundation, which is on the app as well. So I definitely felt like that could be very impactful in the community to be able to help those individuals that have experienced that type of trauma, So the resources that I have on there, I have the RSS application, which stands for Residential State Supplement. So that actually is a program to help the client pay for, the room and board in the group homes. So they can actually get that on the app. The 211 first call for help link is on the app as well. Payee Services. Payee Services are, people that can assist them in paying their bills and, things of that nature. Food banks. There are food banks so you can locate food banks throughout the United States on the app. The crisis intervention. So, during all peak hours, if your client is actually, or your loved one's going through something, they can get in touch with the crisis intervention agency through the app. Personal plan of care application. The personal plan of care application is an application that the client would use in order to get into the group home. A lot of times that would be time consuming trying to get that in place. So you can get it immediately on the app, download it, and send it right to the group home owner. We have community programs, because one of the things that as a case manager, often I would get a call like, that your client is sitting here all day. Is there something that they can do in the community that could, help them, just have a, fulfilled life? So I located community centers on there. So like day programs and things like that, that's on the app. We have the Assurance wireless cell phone. So that's a cell phone that they get free through their insurance. Transportation services to get them from and to and from appointments, because that was a big problem. Clients had appointments, so wasn't able to get to their doctor, and now they're low on their medications. So that was important. The RTA, which is the Regional Transit Authority. So that's the public transportation. So that application on there to get the disability card. So some clients do take the bus, but there's a card that they can get where they get a really nice discount. So you can get that application on the app as well. And lastly is the substance abuse treatment. So you can find a substance abuse treatment center anywhere in the United States on the app. All you got to do is just type in your location and you'll be able to find that treatment center.
That is incredible and extensive.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And the thing about it with my app, I put it in the same regards as any other app that's out there. What you see now Just like when the apps, they grow. So what you see, like, you can use Facebook, Twitter, whatever. You don't see what you see in Facebook today is not what you saw when they first launched. So that's the same thing with my app. What you see now, you're only going to see a better version of it a year from now. So, and I'm really committed into putting back into the app to make it better, to make it a custom fit for, the people that's going to use it. That's why I put a feedback tool on the app, because I'm doing a update quarterly. So when I do that update, I'll be pulling directly from the feedback of the users and putting their suggestions into the update to make it even better for them.
Yeah, and they will tell you what they need.
Yeah.
People are not shy about that.
Yes.
So tell the viewers of this podcast about the trends you saw with transitioning inmates and how it played into mental illness. How did that play out from what you saw?
Well, because of my background, which was in corrections, I dealt directly with individuals that were leaving the jails and going back into the community. And a lot of times there were guys that were like 18, 19, and a lot of times they didn't want to take their medication because they were still at that point that, hey, there's nothing wrong with me. I don't need medication. So we would find them, housing, which could be challenging because, in my network, which was limited, I knew 5 different group home owners, and these happen to be nice group homes. So with me having a client that really wasn't stable where they needed to be on their medication, I may put them in this group home, and the whole time while they're there, I got my fingers crossed, please just work. But I would get a call from the group home owner and say, hey, your client is just being a little bit too disruptive. Can you find, he or she another place? So just having a bigger variety of group home it's not just even finding a group home, but finding the right group home. So just that transition from the jails into the community is being able to find the right place to get them onto the right track. That was the most challenging. And I feel like we definitely addressed that here, because like I said, we got over 1,000 group homes on the app. So we can definitely pick and choose. So it's not even really the group home owners choosing us, but it's also us choosing the right group home as well.
Yeah. And I know we talked about this before, usually, and I'll say usually loosely, is that inmates that are coming out that have had the intelligence to do terrible things, they have a high intelligence level that just needs to be redirected in a positive way. So finding those resources and being in a stable environment really provides that foundation for them to be successful and not have so much return to prison or jail.
Yes, and there are a lot of group homes that are out there that actually addresses exactly what you just mentioned. So if and we want to find those group homes because that they are on a mission of their own to try to get these individuals back to on the right track. So just like you mentioned, that definitely was something that needed to be addressed, and it kind of blew my mind that I've been in corrections almost 20 years. To be into the the space that I was in that short period of time, that this tool didn't exist, and that's and I definitely believe everything happens for a reason. Maybe God pushed me to that point where I'm here now, and this is where I have you here, and just be obedient and do what needs to be done, and that's what I feel like I did.
Yes. And I like that because back in the day when I was actively a prison fellowship volunteer, we would take very well laid out constructed workbooks and physically go into the prison and sit around a conference table and go through the workbook, section by section. But now that we progressed technology wise, it's nice to have resources that they can. Most everybody, I would say, has a cell phone. And
yeah, you're right.
They have a free cell phone from that, the resource that you provide on the app, then they can access the resources they need to get on their feet if they're really serious about succeeding.
Yeah, because sometimes I would have clients that placed in a group home, but they weren't at that place that they needed to be, so they would find themselves in the community a lot. And once they're in the community, you can't reach them. So it's like, why not get on my cell phone?
Yeah,
So I can't. Right. So,
exactly. So let me ask you, in your journey of transitioning yourself from being a corrections officer to the group home app and what you're doing now and all that, how have you met with and conquered obstacles along the way? What are your own mental health tools for coping and overcoming?
well, one of my mental health tools, which it became challenging because with the shutdown, I couldn't go to the gym.
Oh,
That's one of my things. I like to go, work out. It's been times I'm spending an hour on elliptical, and I hear a friend say, "You don't need to spend that much time on that." But I'm not doing it for my physical. I'm doing it for my mental as well. So
yes.
that has been, something that I do. And then the movies was the other thing. I go to the movies by myself. So, um,
Yeah.
so those are some of the things that and when they had the shutdown with the COVID, it was like, how do you cope now? How do you cope? So one of the biggest things that I did that I kind of switched into coping was just talking to people that are in the profession. Because one thing about the pandemic, it showed us, a lot of us, that we were kind of in the same boat. We were dealing with a lot of the same stuff. So but you had to find the people that were willing to talk about it. And I was blessed in order to find a group of people that were willing to talk about it.
Yeah, and that's great. And I can relate to you with, I have no problem going to the movies alone, and I have an extensive movie collection. So, and a book, a zippered pouch about that big, full of movies. That's a favorite pastime as well. So I
Yeah.
understand that. So let's turn a corner a little bit. You're heavily involved. I almost said heavenly. You're heavily involved in sports management, and you're a certified sports agent. So share more about that area of your life.
Well, it's funny because it just seemed like I've always worked as, some type of servant in the community. And I just consider sports agent being another part of that. Me having a definitely love for football. When my playing done was over with, I wasn't ready to be done with football on a more than just being a fan of it. I wanted to be involved in it in some type of way. So, and it all started, it's funny because it started with my nephew, who played football. I actually got him, started looking for schools and getting him into semi-pro and things like that. I just felt the love for it, and it was just something that I feel like, again, before I knew it, I was doing it. So I just feel like a lot of times God is just pushing me in certain directions. So, so I started doing that. Was blessed enough to represent, a couple of guys that were in NFL, CFL. I did step away from it for the time being because, I had a calling on the app, but I do plan on going right back into it because the love is still there. It's still lying in me. So it's calling me back. I'm just saying, like, just give me one more minute. I'll be back.
Exactly. And I like that they're really not connected in most ways, the group home app and the sports management, but there's so many athletes coming forward nowadays that are bringing out,
Yeah.
calling forth that they've struggled with mental health. So it seems separate, but it's really blends
Yeah.
together because a lot are struggling with mental health in one way or another.
Yeah. And as an agent, I put on the role of as a mentor a lot too. I gave, so it was just, being a service to my client, giving them advice, just being a mentor or how to handle certain situations. I don't care what your situation is. You always try to handle it as a professional because, certain things are habit forming. So, just being an agent of the community in some form or fashion, it seemed like I've always done it.
That's your call. Your calling seems to be serving others. You're serving your community, serving beyond the community, and just I think your sphere will widen and widen and widen. As
Thank you.
everything.
and it's so fulfilling. Yeah, and it's so fulfilling. I get so much out of it. Like when I see others that I've helped do well, it feels so good. I just like, I want more of that, let me see who else I can help.
Yeah, it is really fulfilling to see others have that aha moment and just do better because you've spoken into their lives.
Yes, yes. And even as a correction officer, I've always treated individuals that was in jail. I treat you because the punishment has already been sentenced. So it wasn't my job to go in and, try to enforce other punishment that the judge didn't enforce. So I've always treated people like people. And it served me well because now I'm working in the community. Some of the individuals that I encountered as a correction officer that I treated, with some form of dignity, they are asking if they can be, if I can be their case manager. So,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So let's finish up with some fun stuff.
Okay.
Although this whole thing has been very fun, but some
Yes,
super fun stuff is that you're the single dad of a teenage son and you love spending time with him. And so tell me a little bit about that and what you guys do together and what movies you enjoy going to. And do you go together or do you just go on your own? Do you like the same movies?
It's funny because I had to learn to adjust, as I'm pretty sure a lot of parents can relate, having a teenager. It was funny because having him from, if I had to go in the store, I had to get the baby carrier and take him in the store with me, that whole thing. So to the point where I couldn't go anywhere without him talking. I couldn't ride in the car, listen to music without him talking. I got to turn on the radio to, talk. What did he say? Okay. To now where it's like, hey, Josh, come on, let's watch TV. He was like, Dad, yeah, maybe later. I was like, okay. So I had to learn to adjust with that, and learn that, okay, he's not 5 anymore. He's 17. So there's other things that we can do. So we kind of like go to the gym now, together. We don't watch movies, like I would like. He'll watch movies with my parents all day. I'm going over grandma's and granddad's house and watch movies with them, but I can't get them to watch a movie. So if I want to watch a movie, I'll go watch with all 3 of them, so it'd be me, my mother, my father, my son, we watching the movie together. So, but, so
nice.
Yeah. So now he's getting ready for college, which is another, flip of the page. I'm going to have to adjust to that, but I'm excited about it. It's definitely a blessing to see him grow into the young man that he's becoming. And I'm glad that I had a chance to have a part in it.
Yeah, for sure. And you earned, I can't end without, acknowledging this. You earned the Father of the Year award in 2009 by the Urban League. What brought that on? How did that happen?
It was during a transition in time. So I end up going to the Urban League to, try to find some resources. And before I knew it, I met a gentleman there. His name was Maurice Stevens, became a mentor, started talking to me about the Fatherhood Initiative. I did a radio commercial with a county commissioner here. And, just being engaged and them kind of recognizing, me doing the same things that I was doing with with my son, as far as like just getting him involved in different programs, Boy Scout and things like that. I was blessed that they honored me and 5 other gentlemen as a Fatherhood Initiative in 2009. Fatherhood Initiative Father of the Year Award in 2009.
Well, that's really cool. Not everybody gets that.
Yeah, I'm proud of it. It was a pleasant surprise. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, my last question to you is: do you have anything you want to share with viewers about anything? Do you have anything to share? A few tips that you want to share? A few little nuggets of wisdom?
Well, the thing I would say is that whatever your passion is, go after it. I used to hear all the time that it's not the destination, it's a journey. And it took on a different meaning when I started on this journey. This journey has been like nothing that I've ever experienced before because being the first app of this kind, I didn't have a blueprint to go off of. So it was a lot of trial and error, but it definitely has transformed me to the man that I feel like the God wanted me to be. And I would just say, be persistent, keep going. Know that every day you're not going to feel like it, but I think at that point you got to realize that a decision has been made, and sometimes you got to get out your feelings. And regardless of how you feel this particular day, continue to push through. Because the next day you'll feel like that champion that you are.
Yes, and that prompts one other final question. Is if somebody knows somebody that is struggling with mental health and they're just out there, what's your best tip for what can they do to help that person? Because you can't force somebody to do something, but how can they support that person with struggling with mental health?
My advice would be, one of we're in a good time right now because mental health is something that's being talked about, which I'm extremely excited about. So no matter what city or county you're in, there are some type of mental health agencies that are available. So reach out to them, talk to them and explain to them what you're experiencing with your loved one, and they would definitely direct you in the right path. And if they don't give you the answer that they want, the good thing about it is there are other agencies. So reach out to another one. Just be persistent because, it's something that has been ignored long enough. And I feel like we're finally talking about it, which is, again, I'm extremely excited about because I feel like for years and generations, certain mental health and traumas has been ignored, and which has resulted into problems that have gone on in the community. But I think with us finally addressing it, maybe we can, find some type of solution.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And how can people get in touch with you? How can they connect with the Group Home app? Tell us how to reach you.
I'm on Instagram. You can reach out to me, Eric Chatmon, or Eric Chat 01 on Instagram. You can reach out to me, Eric Chatmon, on Facebook. There is a website, which is www.grouphomeinfo.org. That's www.grouphomeinfo.org. You get to that website, all my contact information is on there.
Wonderful.
And the Group Home app is available on Google and iOS.
Okay, great. And I just want to clarify for people, it's not Chapman, like CHAP, it's CHATMON.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, because it's a common mistake.
That's what I figured. Yeah, it's like, what did he say? So it's Chapman.
Yeah.
So,
Chapman.
Yes, Chapman. Well,
yes.
Thank you, Eric, so much for being a guest today. I really appreciate it. I think this will help a lot of people.
Thank you. It's been an honor, and I thank you for reaching out to me and us connecting on LinkedIn, and it's been a great experience, and I look forward to continuing networking with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. And if anybody wants to get in touch with Winning Proof, you can find me at winningproof.com and all over LinkedIn, Instagram, and you can look up Winning Proof and pretty much find me. So that's all I'm going to say. And thank you, everybody, for watching another episode of Winning Proof Unscripted.